Hello, everyone, and welcome to the LEC Summer Split 2020. My name is Demaglio, and I'm here to remind you that this channel, like many others, is sponsored by viewers like you. Now, a bit of a mishap happened with my recording software, so I am having to re-record this game. However, it is G2 versus Mad Lions. Sadly, I do know the outcome of this game. I do know what happens, but I'll try to provide commentary anyway. Speaking of commentary, this is going to be amateur commentary coming out from me for the Summer Split 2020. Going to be just taking a look at what all of the teams do. Typically, throughout the previous splits, I've been following just one, maybe two teams from each region. I typically also focus on the LCS and the LEC, which is what I'm going to be doing on this channel, hilariously enough. But instead of following just two teams, I'm going to follow all of them. So we're going to be able to see how the teams change throughout the split, going to be able to see how the meta changes throughout the split, and hey, maybe if somebody notices I'm doing this, maybe somebody will tell me I'm doing a good job, and maybe they'll be like, hey, you should come talk for us. Riot Games, I'm looking at you. Please. I would really like to work with you. I love you guys. I mean, sometimes you're stupid, but that's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. Black Cleaver, anyone? Or the original Black Cleaver, I should say. But anyway, getting away from Flaming Riot Games, we're going to get into this game. Standard bans coming out in the beginning. Thresh, Senna, Ezreal, very strong bot laners. Azir Syndra, very strong mid lane, able to be these annoying control mages in the late game that just one-shot your backline and provide all sorts of value for your team. And Graves, a very well-scaling jungler, able to go so many different setups with the lethality, with the Black Cleaver, with, I mean, anything. Probably can't go tank Graves, but anything with AD. And Varus coming in for Perks in the beginning of this game. Of course, Perks is the new, or I should say returning ADC. Caps had a little bit of his time in the spotlight for ADC, but now Perks back in the role, back on the roll, as it were. Back on a roll. I'll stop. In the bot lane with Mickey X coming in as his support, as always. Mad Lions going to choose to go into the Kalista. We'll have to see if Kalista is paired with a sort of aggressive support, like the Taric that she's typically paired with. Taric being able to go into two modes, a sort of aggressive go forward and hit dazzle on the enemy, or a defensive counter engage mode, typically paired with the Kalista because of the synergy he has with Fate's Call. However, the Lee Sin for jungle coming in for the Mad Lions. Lee Sin, a historic pick in competitive League of Legends, one that is utilized by many teams in many regions, and sometimes to good effect, sometimes to not so good effect. We'll have to see how it pans out in this game. Jankos going for his Rek'Sai. Jankos commonly referred to as the First Blood King, able to utilize champions such as Rek'Sai, such as Elise, to get these magnanimous first ganks off and get first blood. So we'll have to see how he does in this game. Caps coming in with the Zoe, going to be able to form a very strong pick, or should I say poke comp, with the Varus. Varus likely to go lethality. He does, I've seen the game. So, very likely to go lethality, actually. And Zoe will just be able to add to this poke that is coming out from G2. But Humanoid choosing the Orianna, choosing to match mid laner for mid laner. Orianna, a historically good pick into Zoe, able to sort of weather the annoying poke from her laning phase and then able to provide more teamfight presence than her in late game with the Orianna ultimate and the shields and the AoE damage that Orianna is able to apply, whereas the Zoe is typically just a sort of one-shot Johnny, hit an EQ and kill somebody sort of champion. Speaking of kill somebody sort of champion, Mad Lions will be banning out the champions that don't do that, namely the Karma, which is a champion that we did see a lot of in the Mid-Season Cup, one that came out a lot for specifically Beryl on Top Esports, I think is what he's on. I don't really follow LPL or LCK very often, but I did watch most of the midseason cup games, wanting to get a good hold on what the meta is. And since midseason cup did play on 10.10, it'd be pretty close to what we're seeing on 10.11. Braum being banned out for the side of, or well, being banned out by Mad Lions for the side of G2. Braum, a good pick with the Varus, able to keep him safe in lane. Varus, a notoriously low mobility AD carry, able to dish out a ton of damage, whether it be sustained or burst with his lethality or Bork setups, on hit setup, I should say. And Orome going to be on this Wukong. Wukong, a very strong pick in the meta right now. Not as strong as he was, but still very strong. Going into this game, Orome likely going to look to split push, while Mad Lions are giving themselves a fairly strong pick comp with the Lee Sin kick, with the Orianna ult. And Mickey X opting for the Tahm Kench, one that was sort of overlooked in this support ban. Tahm Kench, historic pairing with the Varus, able to keep him very safe in lane and also able to provide a lot of utility and value in the late game with the Tahm Kench W. And looks like Wonder going to look towards the Mordekaiser, and it is locked in. I know it's locked in, but you gotta have some sort of veil of I don't know what a good word for that would be. Veil of... I don't want to say ignorance, because that makes me sound dumb. But whatever. Anyway. Wonder going for the Mordekaiser. Going to be able to sort of match this Wukong blow for blow. Able to take him out. Speaking of take him out, that's what Kaiser's going to be trying to do in this game with the Blitzcrank. Going to look for picks. Another pick champion along with this Orianna and the Lee Sin. And the Wukong, to be quite frank with you. Going to look for these hard engages, getting hooks onto the Varus, getting hooks onto the Zoe, or even the Mordekaiser. Probably don't want to hook Mordekaiser, but you can. Going to be able to hook them down, going to be able to kill them, and if Mad Lions are able to sort of play out this pick comp that they have, they might be able to take down G2. Mad Lions and G2 has been a very storied matchup within the last split. They were oftentimes very close in their games, going blow for blow, and I believe even being taken to the finals of the Spring Split 2020. We'll see what these two powerhouses have to say against each other in this game. And as we get into game, I do want to talk about, well, obviously I want to talk. It's kind of my job. But I do want to talk about the patch we're on. As stated before, we are on patch 10.11. However, 10.11 is the patch right before 10.12, as numbers are wont to do. And 10.12 is the patch where we get a lot of changes, namely the buffs to Volibear. So we're going to not be seeing much Volibear, and we're going to be seeing a lot of Varus, likely, since this is before his Q nerfs. Also not going to be able to see much Ghost because that hasn't been changed. Predator is still all of its former glory, so might be able to see some Predator Gragas or Predator, probably just Gragas, but going to be able to see a lot coming out in the rest of this split before the 10.12 changes, I believe, which come into effect next week, but I could be wrong about that. Right before Mad Lions did try to invade, but Kaiser either not confident or not trusting of his flash hook mechanics and follow-up from the team, likely just not wanting to trade flash for flash, because a flash in lane from Blitzcrank is wonderful. Also, speaking of runes, speaking of things like the Predator changes, we also do not have Guardian changes yet, so Guardian is not yet buffed, and a lot of people would say, oh, it's an adjustment, but I think it's a buff. I mean, sometimes with the Guardian as it is now on 10.11, teams can just pop your Guardian before you can have a chance to really use it, whereas after the Guardian changes, it is always going to be useful, only proccing when you take either lethal damage or enough burst damage for it to matter. And so Guardian currently not buffed, but still a strong pick on the Tahm Kench coming out from Mickey X. Going to be a very useful keystone for keeping this Varus alive, for keeping picks like the Zoe alive, able to chomp them up, keep them safe. Who's the better mid laner? Oh, I remember this. This was hilarious. Who's the better mid laner, Caps or Perks? Comment down below who you think. I would say it's a toss-up. Perks is probably better historically because he's been around longer, but Caps probably better now? I mean, Caps is a very strong mid laner. Perks, I'm sorry to say, but Perks probably the better ADC. Caps had some interesting games on ADC in the last split, but we don't need to flame Caps. He's a strong guy. Strong mid laner, I should say. Mid lane is his home. You know, something that I didn't actually notice last game, or well, last time I recorded this, I should say, is the starting item on Carzzy opting to take the Doran's shield instead of Doran's blade, even though she's paired with a Blitzcrank. Shadow moving down, looking like he might go for a gank, but spotted on a ward. Perks and Mickey going to be able to just back away. Kaiser not wanting to go for a hook, knowing that Shadow is too far away to get any follow-up, and knowing that he's on a ward. And there's the vote, Caps, 75%. Now, I'm sure if you asked who's the better ADC, it would go to Perks. But speaking of Caps being the better mid laner, he's going to go up on a teleport gank for the top lane. All of G2 taken low. All of G2 taken very low. Wonder taking a final turret shot. They're all very low, all about half health or lower. And Wonder with the shield and the turret cooled off. Caps is going to get that first blood. Going to be able to get a very substantial lead, even though he is behind 10 CS in the mid lane. First blood is more than 10 CS in gold, so we're going to have to see what Caps does with this. Of course, Varus moving to sort of protect mid lane while Caps teleport ganked up in top lane. Varus not going to lose much, having Mickey on the Tahm Kench in the bot lane, able to hold the lane in a pretty decent position. Oh, I apologize. Able to hold the lane in a pretty decent position. And as we hit sort of a, I don't want to say a lull state, because my God, watching the Mid-Season Cup over the past couple days has gotten me very acquainted with the term lull state. We're going to be looking at the setups from each team. Currently, Perks does have the Serrated Dirk, obviously going for the lethality, one of the stronger setups currently for Varus. And with the Comet, you would expect a lethality Varus coming out. An interesting note is that Zoe has the Unsealed Spellbook in mid lane. Now, typically we see something like Electrocute or Airy or even Comet sometimes on Zoe's. However, the Spellbook able to provide so much utility, so much help for the team later in the game. But Shadow hits a nice Q onto Wonder, coming in for the gank, going to be able to take Wonder low, but being able to get under his tower, likely going to just back out from this one. But Shadow and Orome are diving. They're diving onto him. They're going to be able to take him down. Orome taken low, but that last tower shot is not going to take him down, not even needing to use the flash, which he doesn't have up. So, I mean, good for him. Able to get a return kill onto the top laner, and able to put Orome a bit ahead in this game. Just a little. I mean, he's 3 CS up, as Wonder collects the CS under his tower and completely makes me eat my words, but that's okay. Speaking of CS, currently the mid lane, Caps is in a bit of a CS deficit. He is down about 20 CS. That's pretty tough for a Zoe who got first blood, but backing Dark Seal and the Amp Tome doesn't give you a whole lot of pushing power. The Amp Tome helps, but Dark Seal is more for just the safety in lane against the Orianna. Speaking of Orianna, looking to scale with this tier, looking to have a fairly strong late game impact. Speaking of impact, Karzi being impacted by these piercing arrows, taken very low, taken to half health, and Jankos is looking to come down, maybe looking for the dive. Jankos seen on a ward, so Kaiser and Karzi going to back out, and Kaiser very nicely flashing away from the Varus ultimate. But with Caps and Jankos down here, they can't 4v3 on the side of Mad Lion, so it looks like Jankos and Caps just going to be able to take the blue buff, just going to be able to steal away some of Shadow's jungle and get Jankos ahead in the jungle game, as well as take quite a few plates in bot lane, getting what looks like 3 plates easily in bot lane. A huge minion wave for Karzi to miss. Speaking of minions, Perks looks to be up, what is that, 30 CS approximately on Karzi. That is an enormous lead for this Varus. And if I know G2, I know that they are one to snowball their leads. And having a 1k gold lead here in the early game without having taken any towers, certainly going to put Mad Lions on a timer. They're going to need to figure out how to stop this momentum. And a good way to stop the momentum is taking the Rift Herald, which is what they're going to do now. Going to nearly take it down with the Rend, having to get one more auto attack in there just for good measure. But with this Rift Herald, they might be able to get some plates, might be able to close the gold gap just a bit. A 1k gold lead in the early game, not the biggest in the world, but speaking of biggest in the world, Mickey X just walking forward, Humanoid getting a good ult, and Shadow getting ignited, getting taken lower and lower, going to dodge out on the Paddle Star, going to be able to walk away. Humanoid nearly eaten up and taken down by the Tom Kench, who has backed Swifties as his first item, going to be able to make these nice rotations to the mid lane and back to the bot lane, able to sort of out-rotate the Blitzcrank, which is a champion who has been known for his rotations. Blitzcrank being able to go forward. Speaking of going forward, Karzi having to flash forward to get away from Perk's ultimate. A very good use of the flash. Likely would have been a death for Karzi if he was hit by the Varus ultimate. So much damage coming out from this lethality Varus with the Umbral Glaive already completed by Varus, and Karzi is going to have a tough time in this game, trying to get back, trying to sort of recoup this deficit that he has gotten himself. Orame being collapsed by Caps, going to be taken low by Wonder. Caps seemingly just here to witness the 1v1, not putting out much damage at all, missing the Paddle Star and not autoing, just allowing Wonder to take that one for himself. And so just classic G2, just letting their laners do whatever they want, really. I mean, it's always been the G2 motto. Just do whatever you want, and if you win, you win. And usually you win. But speaking of winning, Orianna is winning the mid lane. I mean, she is up what looks to be 40-ish CS, close to 40 CS, and that is a huge deficit for the Zoe. But speaking of Zoe, gets a sleep onto Humanoid, not able to follow it up. Mickey getting caught out by the Blitzcrank hook, by the Lee Sin, going to be taken low, going to be taken nearly down, but Mickey able to survive through it. Shadow taken low now, especially by the piercing arrow from the Varus. But Jankos goes down. Jankos killed by Karzi, and Kaiser going forward, getting a knock up onto 2. Mickey is going to go very low, but Perk's staying healthy. Perk's able to put out the damage. He takes down Kaiser as Karzi trays back another kill. Tom Kench taken down by Karzi, and Perks misses. Wow, but he does hit the ultimate. He missed the E from Varus, but he hits the ultimate. Able to take down Karzi with the Comet, and so much damage coming out from this lethality Varus. The Umbral Glaive, such a huge power spike on the part of Perks. And now that he is 2-0, going to be able to purchase another serrated Dirk, put himself even farther forward in this game. And with a approximate 40 CS up on Karzi, he's going to be a monster in this game. Mickey again taken so low, and Yankos just being able to practically 1v1 Shadow, but goes a little too far forward, gets knocked up, and gets killed. And with that Kaiser ultimate, seems like Mad Lions has won the fight, but Perks just putting out so much damage, and Caps, even with missing everything, able to just put out enough to take down Carzzy in the end. And Shadow being Lee Sin, going to get out, of course, but Varus, lots of damage coming out from Perks on this Varus. 1,800 in the last team fight, able to just dish it out, and from such a long range, so safely as well. Going to be able to take down the Mad Lions from very far away. Going to be able to, in posturing fights like this, such as against a dragon, going to be able to shoot long-range arrows. Yanko's coming in, going to get the knock-up on the Shadow and the smite onto the Drake. He's going to take it down. And Perks just fires arrow after arrow after arrow. A huge Orianna ultimate onto 3. Wonder's going forward, taking Kaiser into the Death Realm. He's going to be able to 1v1 him in there, but he's going to be stuck in the middle of 4. Kaiser taken down by Wonder. Wonder taking down Carzzy as well. Orome does get a trade kill onto Yankos, but with Shadow going down, that's a 1 team fight for G2. And with Mickey X going forward, just letting the sleep tick away, letting Wonder get the extra true damage onto the sleep, and Orome being chased off, that is a huge teamfight win for G2. Now up about 2.3k gold, going to be able to transition this into more, as they will likely be able to push lanes with this setup. But let's watch what happens again here. Yanko's just going in, and in slow motion knocks up Shadow and gets the smite. Just a very nice steal from Yankos. And then with the double teleport, we do get the Orianna ultimate, which was a very nice ultimate, and it looked like it could be a 1 fight for Mad Lions, but Perks putting down so much damage, Wonder putting down so much damage, Perks hitting a beautiful ultimate, able to root up so many of the Mad Lions members that they're all just taken down from the damage from Caps, from Perks on the Varus, and from Wonder being such a nuisance in the backline with his passive, with his Q smacks. And G2 looking very far ahead in this game. 2,500 damage coming out from the Varus. The only one even close is the Orianna, who hit a 3-man ultimate. So Varus being able to dish out so much more than he takes in these team fights. And with nary a tank on the side of Mad Lions, he's just going to continue to deal so much damage. The only pseudo tank on the side of Mad Lions is Blitzcrank, and he's built 0 armor. In fact, no one on the side of Mad Lions has built armor. That's going to mean they're going to take a lot of damage from Varus. But it's not all doom and gloom for Mad Lions. Carzzy is taking down the bot lane turret. However, Yankos trading the Rift Herald for the bot lane turret, going to be able to pick that up, going to be able to push a lane with it. And as Carzzy gets caught out by Wonder, goes into the Death Realm, Wonder able to just walk at Carzzy and just auto him, and Mad Lions, just knowing Carzzy's going to go down, they allow him to go down, they back out, not wanting to lose more than just Carzzy, seeing that Zoe and Rek'Sai were coming down. And so now, Mad Lions going to be able to reset. Orome on the top lane, pushing and taking down this tower. Orome now level 11, going to be able to get a lot done with his ult in team fights. Going to be able to provide a lot of CC on a relatively CC heavy team. Going to be able to ensure that these picks go the way of Mad Lions. But with Perks taking the blue buff, the CS deficit in mid lane, not as big, but the Orianna ultimate, so well placed by Humanoid, and Shadow there for the follow-up, just going to take down Caps in the mid lane. This pick comp showing what it can do against G2. But Mad Lions, I mean, if they can make plays like that, they're going to be able to come back into this game if they are able to pick off the members of G2, able to just take them down in a matter of seconds. I mean, Caps was alive for 2-3 seconds at most, and that was just 2 of the members of Mad Lions. So we'll watch it again. We'll see just how it transpired. Humanoid pushing the ball into such a perfect position and then ulting Caps. Caps even using his actual flash to try and get out, but just taking the auto attacks from the Lee Sin, gets taken down. But Mad Lions will still have to deal with the threat of Perks. Mickey X getting caught out a bit. Kaiser coming forward, but pay no attention to Kaiser. Pay attention to Humanoid, who just got taken down. I thought he was going to be able to take down Perks, but instead he takes down, or well, he is taken down by Perks. Perks winning the proverbial 1v1, which wasn't really a 1v1. It was more of a 2v1, I guess. But Perks doing most of the damage there, I can assure you. Rift Herald going to be able to get a second crash onto the turret in mid lane, the tier 2 turret. Mickey X walking forward. They're nearly going to take the tower. The minions take the tower. And so G2 getting a lot in this game. Currently 4 towers to 3. One of those towers being a mid lane tier 2. And G2 also going down towards this dragon. Going to be able to get down a lot of damage on it. Especially with Caps helping out Yankos on this Drake. Yankos now just left to solo it, as Shadow is in his topside jungle, not able to contest, and G2 now push the game to a soul point. If they are able to take this next dragon, G2 are going to have an enormous lead in the game, and Infernal Soul rather, one of the best Drakes for G2 with this poke comp, just able to get so much more damage out of the paddle stars, out of the piercing arrows coming out from Varus and Zoe. And if you look at the gold graph, Perks is about 1,000 gold up on the second highest gold member, and the second highest gold member is on G2. Orome and Humanoid are hitting some high numbers, but Perks is just so far ahead, 4-0 on this Varus currently. Going to be looking to just poke down and press the advantage on Mad Lions. Speaking of pressing an advantage, a good way to press an advantage is with Baron, which is spawning in 30 seconds. With the lethality Varus, you are able to deal a lot of poke damage, but sustained damage is a little bit of a tough road for you. Taking Baron going to be a bit of an issue, but taking the blue buff for G2 not going... Oh, okay. Humanoid gets the blue buff. My bad. Humanoid able to just take it down with an auto. Caps just barely not having enough damage to take down that blue buff. And as Orome pushes on to the top lane, none of G2 is in a position to stop his push. He's going to be able to get a lot of damage onto this turret, but G2 just looking to go towards the bot lane, looking to take another tier 2 turret, as they seemingly trade their tier 2 in top for a tier 2 in bot. But Caps is sent to clear the minion wave. Orome not going to be able to take down the turret, going to just be shy of taking that. And G2 just going to get an inhibitor turret for their trouble. I mean, trading... Trading about 3/4 health on a top lane tier 2 for an inhibitor turret is an enormous trade for G2. Now 6 towers to 3, and a 4K gold lead. I saw the 8 in 38.4 and thought, oh, 8K, but no. 4K gold lead on the side of G2. Going to be able to push and push and push this advantage that they have, and going to be able to likely take this game. But you didn't hear it from me. As Orome... Wonder was thinking about it, but he didn't do anything to Orome. Orome seeing the control ward, though. Wonder and Orome just posturing for the 1v1, looking for vision, looking for engages. Just looking to split push at the current juncture. But Mad Lions pushing into the G2 jungle. And the spell shield coming onto Oriana is going to ensure that he's not taken low by Varus. Yep, going to be able to block those piercing arrows fairly easily. Sometimes gets through if the Banshee's Veil is down, but Kaiser looking to hook, but he can't since Varus has that Edge of Night. The Edge of Night providing so much utility for this Varus, going to be able to keep him safe while he just pokes from the backline, taking Humanoid very low with just one piercing arrow. Caps, meanwhile, pushing on the top lane, going to be able to take the top tier 2, a job that Orome could not complete in the past. Kaiser, his back is stopped by the Varus, who just gets more damage. He is now at 3 items, and he is so strong on this pick, able to dish out so much damage and so consistently as well. One of the failings of Lethality Varus in the past is that it just wasn't able to dish out damage fast enough, as in it had no sustained damage. It was more for poke. However, with the cooldown reduction that Varus now has from the likely Transcendence that he has taken and the likely Cosmic Insight, as well as the Umbral Glaive and the Yomu's, just able to fire arrow after arrow after arrow and have absolute, just enormous sustained damage in these fights, especially against these squishy members. Still 0 armor being built, other than the Aegis on Orome. 0 armor being built on the side of Mad Lions. Speaking of Mad Lions, posturing around this Infernal Drake, not wanting to give it away to G2, give away Soul, and likely give away the game if G2, with this poke comp they have, are able to take this Dragon Soul. Mickey X getting hit by the ball, but not taken very low. He is a Tom Kench, he is very tanky. But currently Mad Lions have a good position on this Dragon, likely going to be able... Ooh, that barrel narrowly missed Shadow, though. Likely going to be able to take this Dragon low, and as it leashes, as it resets, Wonder goes in. He gets the Death Realm onto Orome, going to be able to get a lot of damage onto him, but now he's caught between 5. Goes into the Zanyas and is able to flash out. Kaiser missing the Fate's Call. Kaiser being taken low, and Blue Team has slain the Dragon. G2 now having Infernal Soul, getting a lot of value off of those Infernal Soul procs, and Karzi stepping forward. However, Caps being eaten up is going to be safe, but not safe is Humanoid, and Karzi taken down by the poke duo of Varus and Zoe. And now with Shadow being taken down, that is an ace for G2 Esports. G2 looking to utilize the Tom Kench ultimate to get as much out of this ace as possible. Looking to take down the mid lane inhibitor, looking to take down the bot lane inhibitor being pushed by Wonder. Mickey X tanking a lot of the tower, but he's a tanky boy. He's a tanky Tom, so he is not going to be taken down in the slightest. Perks just pushing onto this inhibitor, going to let the minions finish it off, and with Caps and Wonder, Caps narrowly avoiding a Blitzcrank hook, using the W flash to just get away from that one, get out with his life. But let's see how this dragon fight goes wrong for Mad Lions. Wonder utilizing the Zanyas very well. As soon as he comes out of Death Realm, just getting knocked up, but using the Zanyas, able to stay alive, and then flashing to avoid Kaiser's knockup from the Fate's Call. And although Kaiser did get a really nice silence onto 3, Jankos had already bit the bullet. He had already gotten the dragon. And then after Perks hit that enormous arrow onto Humanoid and Karzi, it was just lights out. Caps being able to walk forward and get the empowered auto onto Karzi and able to take him down as well. And now Karzi getting caught out, going to be asleep, going to be taken down by Perks. Legendary is the bot laner for G2 with 12.8 thousand gold. A nearly 8,000 gold up on Mad Lions is G2. Shadow being taken low, Shadow just being taken out by Wonder. And now Perks flashing forward for Orome, putting down a lot of damage with this lethality setup. Going to be able to take Orome low, and Jankos with the fadeaway ultimate. Perks is just a monster in this game, putting down so much damage, not even completing his boot 2 and still able to stay so safe in the backline with just these piercing arrow after piercing arrow. G2 going in, going to take on Mad Lions under the tower. Kaiser goes into the Zanya's, going to be able to, but he's going to be taken down by Wonder. Nearly going to take him out with the Fate's Call, but Wonder just going forward and getting the dunk onto him. Speaking of dunk, Perks dunks Humanoid with the piercing arrow. Shadow trying to go forward, trying to get onto Wonder or Caps, a low health target, but he's just taken down and aced is Mad Lions. Mad Lions losing in style, though. Kinda. But G2, I mean, G2, they have made a statement this game. They are saying, we were the best last split, and we plan to be the best this split. And as we see the empty chairs in the arena, I guess, why are they empty? I mean, I know why they're empty, quarantine, but like, that's beautiful. And so, with our beautiful professional commentators, this has been Demoglio with my own amateur commentary over the G2 versus Mad Lions game. G2 going 1-0 for the Summer Split 2020.